Church is weird, really weird. On paper, a church is a horrible business model. Imagine someone pitching this to you on Shark Tank. Once a week, we'll invite literally anyone to church. If they come early, they can maybe do a Bible study, which often will be taught by someone who's vastly underqualified and thus is boring. We'll give them all free coffee and cookies. Then we'll get together in one big room, we'll sing some songs, and depending on the kind of church, there'll be some scripture readings and liturgy. Then one guy will give a little speech, and get this. This is how we'll make the money right here. We'll ask nicely. And if some people don't want to give us money, well, then that's just fine. On a macro scale, companies don't tend to last that long. The world just evolves and doesn't need the same products that it used to. One of the oldest companies still being traded on the S&P 500 is Coca-Cola, founded in 1886. But the Christian church was founded on the day of Pentecost around 2,000 years ago. And the church is 1,000-fold more successful than Coca-Cola, despite the business model of free cookies and coffee. Sometimes you don't even need an outdated product to become irrelevant. Sometimes it just takes one bad actor for your organization to go to crap. And the church did not miss the being infiltrated by suspect individuals.
When Almighty, Satan, you bow your knee.
Satan, you bow your knee.
You fall on your face.
You fall on your face.
COVID-19.
COVID-19.
I blow the wind of God.
The wind of God.
On you.
On you.
You are destroyed forever.
You are destroyed forever.
And you'll never be back.
And you'll never be back.
Kenneth Copeland is the worst. Atheists think he's crazy and Christians would not like to be associated with him.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
And this kind of teaching is just so harmful for Christians. 19 didn't disappear after Kenneth Copeland said this prayer. I don't know why God kept 19 around, but I know that he brings a greater good out of all evil. Let me make something clear. I am a Christian, but I've never seen one of these clips and seen the Spirit of God moving in someone and doing something that I couldn't do myself easily, faking it by just writhing on the floor for 14 minutes.
Weeks ago, Mac Wolford, a renowned Pentecostal serpent handler, died after suffering a bite from one of the snakes that he used to show his devotion to God.
They point to the New Testament, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 16, verse 18. It's stated in part, "They shall take up serpents."
Do you ever think that verse means maybe some people will pick up serpents? And you think maybe it doesn't mean we can grab sticks whenever we want during church and nothing bad will happen? And have you ever heard of, "You shall not put the Lord your God to the test"? The simplest thing.
And let us confess our faith today in the words of the Sparkle Creed. I believe in the non-binary God, whose pronouns are plural. I believe in Jesus Christ, their child, who wore a fabulous tunic and had 2 dads.
I'm not even going to dignify this with a response. Anyone who knows the first thing about Martin Luther and the Nicene and Apostolic Creeds knows this is a bunch of crap. Before you Catholics get too excited about me making fun of these awful Protestant preachers here, let me tell you about a fun pope. Pope John XII. He somehow became pope at 18 years old, and instead of being celibate like most Catholic clergymen, he turned his house into a brothel. He murdered a few people. Tell no one! And then slept with his sisters. One day, the husband of whatever woman he was sleeping with at the time kicked the door down and he beat John XII so badly that he died a few days later. Actually, by comparison, the Protestant preachers don't look that bad now. Community is the big selling point of church, but the Christian church has also been the most divided church on earth. The Catholics couldn't agree with the Orthodox, so they split in 1054. The Protestants couldn't get along with the Catholics, so they split from them in 1517. And no two Protestants have ever agreed on anything, and they've split the most of all the denominations. So why does it work? Genuinely, I can't think of a logical, economical reason that the church stands today. It doesn't make sense. But I'm reminded of these words from Jesus. "On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it." Mankind has done a number on Jesus' church after he founded it, but I really can only think that it would be Jesus himself that holds our church together, because it just certainly isn't us. And I don't mean this to be an argument for God's existence per se. After all, plenty of religions have been around for a good amount of time, and of course they have had their problems and their divisions. However, it is astounding to note just how badly the Christians specifically are at doing church. But nevertheless, it is the most widespread force for charity in human history. There are Christian churches everywhere. So the point of the video is just this: glory be to Jesus for holding our pathetic attempt at church together.